Hi and welcome to Fearless Warriors with me, Cesar Zinyan, and today we have Chevvy Oke. How are you, Chevvy?
I'm really well, thank you. How are you?
I'm really good, thank you. Thank you for being on the call.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So Chevvy is a clinical therapist and personal development specialist. Chevvy assists her clients to show up, speak up, and step into the greatest expression of themselves. Big on personal growth, she strives to face limiting beliefs head on and always challenges the status quo. And her motto is, life is what you declare it to be. And she doesn't believe that in order to be successful, you need to be oh so serious. Lighten up, enjoy the ride, and give tons of value. Do what makes you happy, and that's the most important thing. So,
That's right.
so tell us a little bit more about what you do, your story, how you got to where you are. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So I work predominantly with women, and it's all about empowerment and transformation. And as you just said, enabling them to step into the greatest expression of themselves. And I believe that, this world is here for you to do whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that makes you happy. And I think that sometimes in this kind of the society that we live in, it's easy to get caught up in what your life should be like. So I really enjoy just peeling back the layers and finding out what actually is going on for that individual. So it's a really, really bespoke service. Before I went deeper into working with women, my background is a decade of a clinical practice in therapy, private practice in therapy. And I passionately enjoyed that, and I was able to make a great success of it. I had a six-figure business, and it enabled me to work 15 hours a week and travel the world for half a year and be in London and travel the world for half a year. And the thing was with me was that was great, and it was really feeding me. But sometimes when you're just doing straight up one-to-one therapy, you're somewhat limited because there's only so much that you can bring into that session. You can't tell somebody, you can't really directly advise them. You're more kind of flowing with the journey of the client. So going more into the personal development, the coaching side of it for me, enabled me to bring more of myself into that, to the sessions, to enable to kind of engage with my client, which I loved. And also, it enabled me to live location free. So now I am wherever I need to be in the world. I'm currently happen to be in the UK, but usually I'm in California or in Italy. And I have my sessions online, which is fantastic.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. And it's really nice that you can work with clients more bespoke and really work on what they need and, allow them to be the person they want to be rather than think they should be. So that sounds amazing. And being able to work from anywhere is great.
Yeah, love it.
Okay, so today we are going to talk about the 5 steps to an abundant lifestyle. Tell me more about these 5 steps.
Okay, so I mean the five steps. Everybody kind of wants to know, how to make their lifestyle more abundant, be it spiritually or financially or just in general, right? And the thing is that these things are so simple; they're at our fingertips. And so I basically just start with the first thing, which is to be still, to surrender, to actually just really try and connect with yourself and the clarity of finding out who you are in this moment now and where it is that you want to be. And that the strand that runs through this is happiness. So what is it that truly makes you happy? What is it that truly makes you tick? Because when you actually give time to think about that and to focus on that and bring more of that into your life, you then manifest that, you attract that, right? Yeah. So that's the first thing. So that's about being still and surrendering. And then secondly, it's about letting go and stripping off the layers of self. And this is more about what the world or society or parents or friends or whatever it have kind of instilled in you to say who you are. Because a lot of the time, as we grow through life, we're conditioned to what people say that we are or what we think that we are via our parents, or, you know, the people who are around us. So it's really getting to the center of that, which kind of, as I said, so it leads on from the surrendering, and really kind of stripping it back and finding out who it is that you are in this moment now, what it is that you are about, and relinquishing yourself from other people's kind of judgments and opinions of you. So the first kind of steps are about letting go and creating space. And then the third thing is about your environment, right? Because the thing is, in order to attract that abundance, you also need to make sure that there's not certain things that are going to be stifling that or blocking that. And I find that a lot of the times, you know, especially in relationships or friendships, as it were, we can hold on to a lot of friendships for various reasons, whether it be that, you know, we've shared a lot of moments with people, or we've shared these skeletons in the closets with people, or whatever it is, right? Sometimes we can just get caught up and remain in relationships that somewhat should have been left behind a while ago. And those relationships can block us from entering new kind of relationships and moving forward. So it's that decluttering of your relationships and your space. And that's not to say just, you know, tell people bye and let them go. Do you know what I mean? But you have to really take inventory of where it is that you want to go, and to what it is and who it is that are around you. Yeah.
I guess that's kind of like removing people who are holding you back. Or
I think that it's because the thing is, when we talk about removing people that are holding us back, I think there's a little bit of a grey line there, because it's not to say, because some people can see that as, well, I'm going to let go of this person. It's like I'm in like a 6-figure, 7-figure environment most of the time, but then I have people that I'm friends with. I've been friends with for a very long time, and they're nowhere near that, right? And would they necessarily be holding me back? No, because it's all about how they support you. That's a major thing with relationships. It's about, does this person around me, will they inspire me? Do they support me in my journey? You know, and so you have to kind of assess those things as you go along with that. So it's more about people that are stifling your journey, but you need to actually work out as to how and why, to see if they should actually have that position in your life. It's in a way. Do you know what I mean? You have this associates, you have your acquaintances, and you have your friends, like three levels.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. And so what's the fourth step?
So the fourth step is about creating space physically. So in order to attract abundance of wealth, of material possessions, or maybe you want this fantastic dress, right, or whatever it is, you have to get rid of stuff, the junk in your trunk, the clutter in your wardrobe, that thing in your house that's been sitting there for 10 years, 1 year. Like, we're all guilty, right? I've got things that I think that I probably used to have, and I'd have it for 5 years, and it'd be like, oh yeah, well, one day I'm gonna put on that dress, I'm gonna put on that dress. And then it's like, no, do you know what? Just get rid of the dress. So creating space in your life so that more things can flow in. So that's kind of just, so what we've done there is we've emptied things out, and then now we're in this refill process. So it's a bit like a diet when you detox to retox, right?
Yeah.
So you taking things out and then putting back in the goodness.
Okay, so that's really a good point, because when you start decluttering and getting rid of old stuff, or stuff that is no longer of value, or you don't use it, it feels really good, because you're like, okay, I've got rid of all this rubbish and I've got all this nice new space, and it's a nice feeling. You feel good. You're like, I'm ready to move on.
Exactly. You have to do that, right? And then whatever it is that you require, it just starts to appear. It's almost like as by magic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to make the space to actually then make space for what you want to come into your life.
Yeah.
So that's in materials. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what's step number 5?
So step number 5 in this is finding your joy, your happiness. Whatever you're doing, find your happy. You know, it's like what I said about people somewhat think that you have to be so serious to get this abundance, to get this success. You know, you have to present yourself a way and be a certain way. But you know what? Ultimately, happiness and abundance is just about you being yourself. Do you?
Yeah, that's a good point, because if you are being so serious and presenting this like strong or whatever person you think you should be, that's again coming back to those beliefs that you think you should be, rather than just enjoying life and enjoying yourself and being happy.
Yeah. And it's like you have to remember, like we have like a relationship with the universe. So it's almost like if you're pretending to be somebody else who you think you should be to get these things, it's like sending mixed messages to the universe. You know what I mean? You're hot and cold.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah. So if someone wants to do these 5 steps, so it can be quite hard to find your own limiting beliefs and, you know, and have awareness of what your own things that are stopping you from moving forward. So what would you say is a good point to start for like figuring out how you're holding yourself back?
I think that a lot of the times what happens is that what I find, especially with my clients, is that most of the things that are holding you back are things that you've repeated. It's not almost whenever I have a conversation about the limiting belief or the procrastination or whatever it is, my clients automatically know what I'm talking about. It's nothing new. So really kind of think to yourself, what are you constantly doing? So, you know, like if you always do the same things, you're always going to get the same results, right? So actually start to think, so what is it? So when I get to this stage in doing something, say if it's work or if it's promotion or something like that, and then there's always something that kind of pushes you back, actually identifying what that is. And also as well, do you know what? Ask the people that know you the most. You know yourself the best. But there also will be people that are around you, and you can just ask them, do you know, what do you think sometimes? How do you think I might hold myself back? Or do you notice anything, you know, in me where I say that I'm going to do something and I don't, or whatever it is? So ask questions. So it's asking questions to people that are around you and also to yourself as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because you don't always think about asking other people, but getting their opinions help you identify what's because sometimes you don't want to accept there's things that you're doing that you know aren't good. So.
And also the thing about asking the opinions is about allowing yourself to be transparent and open, because especially in different industries, it's almost as if, you know, again, it goes back to that persona thing. It's like so many people have this persona, and then how are they able to then go and ask for help or ask somebody else's opinion when they are presenting themselves to be this person or that person? But at the end of the day, we are all human. We're all human. We're just here trying to do the best that we can, you know?
Yeah, that's so true. We all have good points about our personalities and bad points. Like, no one's perfect. Yeah. I was going to ask another question, but I've just forgotten what I was going to ask. Oh, yes, there we go. So I've spoken to people who, when we talk about like finding out what makes them happy and going after that, they don't know what makes them happy, or they don't know what direction to take their life. So what would you advise for someone who's in that situation of who's ready to take that step and live, you know, be the person they are, but they actually don't know how to find out, you know?
I think, do you know that one of the best tools, and so many people use it and also so many people kind of take it for granted, is journaling. Because when you write down things, it's almost as if you're writing down things from your subconscious. You're writing down things that actually you are afraid to vocalize. That pen becomes your mouthpiece. And I think it's so important. There's so much value in journaling, and then actually reflecting upon the things that have been written down. So I would say that's key. That's a key number one key thing to start doing if one's not doing that already.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because then it just flows out your head, and then you can go back and see what's coming up consistently for you.
Totally.
I didn't think of that, but that's a really nice way of doing it.
Yeah.
I was doing like a gratitude journal, so where every day you write what you're thankful for, and actually that again brings up things that make you happy.
Totally.
Yeah.
And also as well, I don't know if you ever do like the same thing, like the gratitude journal, but it's the jar where you write down something, you know, that's been happening or is good or whatever it is in that jar. And that is really fascinating, because at the end of that year or whatever period you give it, when you tick that out, there are so many things that you probably wouldn't have even necessarily given yourself credit for, or you would have forgot that you achieved that, or you did that, or that person did a nice thing for you, or whatever it is. So, you know, there's so much going on, you know, in the world and in our space, that there's these intricate small things that, again, we can just totally miss.
Yeah, and sometimes like really little things that happen that actually make you really happy or thankful or whatever it is, but you forget about them later on, and you're so focused on like the big things or the negative things. Actually, that jar idea is so great, because if you're having a bad day, you can pick something out and go, oh yeah, this happened, this is great.
A pick-me-up jar.
Yeah, exactly. Brilliant. So if someone wanted to work with you, like how what is it that you do with them? Like, let's say someone's interested and they come to you, where would they start? Like, is it a process or?
So all of my one-to-one sessions are very bespoke. I tend to only work with 10 women at a time, just really because I love to give just so much value and create this ultimate package for them that is just purely for them. And it can be about anything. I have women that come to me for a crossroads in their life, and maybe they're thinking that they want to change in their environment or something like that. Or I have a lot of high achievers that I work with that just feel like what they're doing at the moment isn't satisfying them, and they want, if there's something else out there for them. So the first kind of process in order to work with me is that there's a form that's sent, and then that is to invite them to a vision call. And this form is really kind of to see what it is that one is expecting from me, how it is best that I can serve them. And I'm all about connection. And for me, it's really important for that person to have a connection with me, and for me to have a connection with them. So then I invite them onto a call, and then we just kind of like discuss things more and really just take it from there. I've also got a Facebook community that I've got together, and women are able just to come there and hang out and kind of, you know, get value from there for free, and to see how they kind of like that as well. So there's many different ways, but predominantly it's the one-to-one work, which is just, it's, you know, it's just everything. It's consistent. It's every single week. As I say, it's tailor-made. And then I've got some more group coaching projects that I'm actually launching over the next few months. So that's quite exciting as well.
That is exciting. So if someone wants to get in contact with you, where should we be sending them?
Okay, cool. So I've got a Facebook community called Exceptional Women Building Soulful Empires. You can come and find me there. Also, on any social media platform, you can find me as Chevvy Oke. I appear as who I am. You can find me. And yeah, that's it. Or you can email me at info@femaliarity.com.
Brilliant. And I'll add them to the post, so if anyone wants to just click on the link, they can come direct to you.
Brilliant. Thank you.
So those 5 tips were amazing. And we've come to the end of our call. So I know it's gone quite fast. So do you have one tip to leave our audience with that they can take away and do right now?
Yeah, I think that something that actually came up last night and throughout this morning with one of my clients. She was looking at Instagram, and we were speaking about, you know, there's all of these people. She's watching somebody and they had like 50,000 followers, and, you know, she's like, oh my God, I'm never going to be, you know, and they are. And I think that my word for today, or what I would like to say is, you know, don't be afraid to try. Give it a go, because you never know what is at the other side of that leap of faith, to actually just explore something new, whether it be careers or relationships or travels or whatever. So I think that, yeah, take a leap of faith would be just to sign out with that.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I want everyone to go out and do something new this weekend.
Do something new. That's right.
You want to do you've never done.
Yes.
Okay, so brilliant. Thank you so much for being on the call.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you've been amazing. So thank you, and I'm sure the audience got a lot of value from that call.
Oh, brilliant. I'm pleased.
Thank you, and we will be on next week, so I'll see you next week. Bye.